The forest was silent after the blast, smoke curling through broken trees. A U.S. Marine lay pinned beneath the heavy trunk of a fallen oak, his body crushed, his voice growing weaker with every breath. The weight pressed into his chest like a death sentence. He was alone, miles from safety, his radio shattered, his strength fading fast. The world around him blurred into silence, until the sound of paws broke through the stillness. Out of the shadows emerged a German shepherd, tan and black, eyes sharp with purpose. He wasn't just wandering, he was searching. The Marine's breath caught as the dog drew near, sniffing, circling, barking with urgency. There was no handler in sight, no leash, no command, only pure instinct and unshakable loyalty to a human in need. As the soldier's vision dimmed, he felt the dog's presence beside him, warm and steady. Hope flickered in the darkness. This was no ordinary encounter. What the German shepherd did next would not only save the Marine's life, but reveal a bond between man and dog that went far beyond duty. Subscribe to Shepherd Legacy for more true stories of courage and devotion. Tell us in the comments, which city are you watching from today? The forest lay in ruins, torn apart by the violent blast. Smoke drifted through the broken canopy, curling into the gray sky above. Beneath the shattered remains of an oak, Sergeant Daniel Cross fought to stay conscious. His leg was pinned under the tree's massive trunk, pain pulsing like fire through his body. Each breath rattled in his chest, sharp and shallow. His radio lay shattered a few feet away, silent and useless. He tried to push to move, but the crushing weight made even the smallest effort unbearable. Sweat mingled with dirt across his face. His heartbeat roared in his ears, drowning out the forest's silence. Fear crept in, the kind that soldiers rarely admit to, the kind that whispers of dying alone, far from home. Then came the sound. Faint at first, paws striking the ground, a rustle in the underbrush. Daniel froze, his hand instinctively reaching for the sidearm strapped to his thigh. Could it be an enemy? A wild animal? His blurred eyes scanned the smoke, and then he saw him. A German shepherd emerged from the haze, tan and black fur catching the faint light that filtered through the trees. His ears pricked forward, his amber eyes locked onto Daniel. He moved with intent, not wandering, not afraid, but purposeful. Daniel's chest tightened. "Where'd you come from, boy?" His voice was weak, barely a whisper. The shepherd padded closer, tail low, nose working furiously. He circled Daniel, sniffing the air, then barked sharp, commanding, like he was sounding an alarm to the world. Daniel tried to lift himself, pain tearing through his leg, but the dog pressed closer, as if urging him to stay still. The Marine let out a broken laugh, half from relief, half from disbelief. "Guess I'm not alone after all." Minutes passed. The shepherd didn't leave. Instead, he clawed at the earth near the fallen tree, digging furiously around the trunk that pinned Daniel's leg. His paws tore into the dirt, mud splattering, each movement desperate, but determined. Daniel's eyes widened as realization struck. This dog wasn't just staying with him. He was trying to free him. "Good boy." "Keep going," Daniel whispered, fighting tears that threatened to spill. The shepherd barked again, this time louder, echoing through the forest. His call carried urgency, a cry that demanded to be answered. Somewhere in the distance, a faint shout responded, human voices. Drawing closer, Daniel's chest filled with fragile hope. Rescue was coming. And it was this dog, this stranger, who had made it possible. The shepherd returned to Daniel's side, lying close, pressing his warm body against the Marine's trembling hand. His amber eyes seemed to say, "I won't leave you." "Not now, not ever." Shouts cut through the smoke. Figures emerged from the tree-lying fellow Marines, weapons slung across their backs, medics rushing forward with stretchers. Relief hit Daniel like a wave, but so did dizziness. His body wanted to give up now that help was near. "Over here." One of the men shouted. Boots thundered across the ground, and in moments, hands were on him, checking his pulse, securing his leg. The medic's voice was steady but urgent. "He's losing blood. We need to move fast." But as they bent to lift the tree, a growl ripped through the air. The German shepherd had planted himself beside Daniel, teeth bared, muscles tight. His deep growl rolled like thunder, warning anyone who came too close. The Marines froze. "Easy, boy," one said cautiously, raising his hands. Daniel lifted a shaky hand, resting it on the shepherd's neck. "It's okay. He's with me." His words were barely a rasp, but the dog's ears flicked back, and his growl softened to a low rumble. He didn't move away, though. His amber eyes followed every motion of the rescuers, unwilling to leave Daniel's side. With effort and teamwork, the Marines heaved the broken trunk away. Daniel cried out as his crushed leg was freed, pain stabbing through him like fire. The medics worked fast, wrapping his leg, securing 4 lines, strapping him onto a stretcher. The shepherd barked sharply, circling them, nose pressing at Daniel's chest as if making sure he was still breathing. "Whose dog is this?" one Marine asked, frowning. No one answered. He wore no collar, no tags, no sign of an owner. He was a soldier with no name. When they lifted Daniel toward the waiting vehicle, the shepherd bolted ahead, leaping into the back before anyone could stop him. He pressed against Daniel's stretcher, refusing to budge, a barrier between the medics and the man he had chosen to protect. "Sir, we can't transport with an animal," a medic muttered. Daniel's eyes fluttered open, his voice hoarse but firm. "Then he comes with me. He saved my life." The words left no room for argument. The Marines exchanged glances, then shrugged. The shepherd stayed. Through the long, jarring ride back to base, Daniel drifted in and out of consciousness. Every time his eyes opened, the shepherd was there watching, breathing steady, his head resting against Daniel's arm. The rumble of engines, the shouted orders, the metallic scent of blood, all of it faded against the steady comfort of the dog's presence. Stopped by the time they rolled into the field hospital. Whispers had already spread. That shepherd came out of nowhere, wouldn't let anyone touch him, like he knew. And as doctors rushed Daniel inside, the shepherd padded after them, ignoring every order to stay back. His loyalty was unshakable, his purpose clear. This was no ordinary dog. The sterile lights of the field hospital cast a harsh glow as Daniel was wheeled inside. Doctors shouted orders, medics rushed with supplies, and the sharp scent of antiseptic filled the air. But through the chaos, one constant remained: the German shepherd. He padded beside the stretcher, ignoring attempts to push him away. When a nurse reached for Daniel, the dog let out a warning growl until Daniel whispered hoarsely, "It's okay, boy. Let them help." Only then did the shepherd ease back, though his amber eyes never left the Marine. Hours blurred into a battle for survival. Daniel slipped in and out of consciousness, the pain dragging him under. Each time he stirred awake, the dog was there lying at the foot of the bed, head on his paws, a silent guardian. Nurses began whispering about him, calling him the Shadow because he refused to leave Daniel's side, even when ordered out. But one night, Daniel's breathing faltered. Machines shrieked, nurses scrambled. His pulse dipped dangerously low. The shepherd leapt up, barking furiously, pawing at Daniel's chest as though he could wake him by sheer force of will. His cries drew the doctors rushing back into the room. They shocked Daniel's heart, fought with all they had, and finally, a pulse returned. Silence fell heavy after the storm. The shepherd climbed onto the bed, pressing his body against Daniel's arm, his nose nudging the Marine's hand until it twitched weakly in response. A broken smile tugged at Daniel's lips. "Still here, huh? Guess you're not letting me off that easy." When the worst had passed, word of the dog's devotion spread across the base. Soldiers came to see him, the nameless shepherd who had saved one of their own. Some swore he must have been trained, a war dog lost from another unit. Others said he was something more, a guardian sent when Daniel needed him most. Days later, when Daniel was strong enough to sit up, the commanding officer entered his tent. "Cross," he said gruffly. "This dog doesn't belong to any unit. No records, no handler. But after what I've seen..." He glanced at the shepherd, who lifted his head proudly. "Looks like he belongs to you." Daniel's throat tightened. He reached down, running his hand through the thick fur. "Then he's more than mine," he whispered. "He's family." From that day forward, the shepherd walked beside him, not as a stray, not as a shadow, but as a partner. On patrols, in camp, through the darkest nights. He was always there. And when Daniel finally returned home months later, limping but alive, the shepherd stepped off the plane with him, tail high, eyes scanning the crowd as if guarding every step of the journey. The Marine had entered the forest alone, facing death beneath a fallen tree. But he left it with something no soldier could ever train, buy, or replace: an unbreakable bond, forged in fire, sealed in loyalty.